Introduce general CIM architecture. The agenda: we will introduce the abbreviation first, and then architecture of CIM, and then before computer integrated manufacturing, and then after computer integrated manufacturing. Now we see the abbreviation. CIM means computer integrated manufacturing. MES means manufacturing execution system. AMH means automatic material handling system. OHS means overhead shuttle. OHV means overhead hoist vehicle. APC means advanced process control. RMS means recipe management system. PLC means programmable logic controller. Profit bus means process field bus. And ERP means enterprise resource planning. And now we are introduced about the architecture of CIM. And generally in the CIM system, we will have a ERP, but this ERP is just an interface to the whole CIM architecture. And the main system is the MES systems, and others like the recipe management systems, advanced process control system, statistical process control system is add-on. And you can see the client, and the client we can use in the desktop or laptop computer. It is enough. And if your factory have the equipment, some equipment have the CS1 or HSMS protocol. You send a message via the host to the MES or other systems. And if your company, the equipment did not have the CS1 or HSMS, that you may use in the PLC to get the data from the equipment and send the data via profit bus and through the computer and transfer the data to the MES. Okay, in this part we call the AMH system, the automated material handling system, and this part is used for the fully automation factory. If your company did not have the fully automation system, then you are using this part is enough. Okay, using the MES, APC, SPC, and the equipment and the client. And those system is enough, and we call it is semi-auto. Generally, we will install the MES system first, because it is the main system of the CIM. Okay, let's see the MES system. The main function of the manufacturing execution system is record produce history. And you can see the produce history. If we have a product, we call the flash, and the process flow is HVM SK002, and we have a carrier ID Fab1 F312, and it has the step 1 to step 2, and it has the 4 equipments, and it records the into equipment stage time, and it also records the operator. And when the carriers out of equipment time, it also records the operator who unloads the carrier, and it also records the into equipment quantity and the out of equipment quantity. Okay, this is the MES main function, record produce history. And the second main function is prevent wrong operations. First, select wrong recipe. And second, load carrier into wrong equipment. And third, select wrong recipe. Okay, after you install the MES system, you need a client. The client is using a desktop or laptop. I will show you in the later slide. And then you will install the host, or we call the EAP. The host main function is communicated with equipment through the CX1 or HSMS protocol, and communicated with the MES, RMS, and APC or SPC system via the Ethernet. And with MES, send recipe to equipment, collect equipment event report, collect equipment alarm. With RMS, send recipe body between RMS and equipment. With APC, send parameter between APC and equipment. Okay, that is a host function. The host function will send the data to the SPC, APC, MES, RMS. And if your equipment did not have the CX1 or HSMS protocol, that you need a POC to get the data from the equipment and send to those systems. And you can see the POC. The POC main function is computer connect manufacturing execution system or advanced process control system or other system. You can see using the computer to connect. And the computer send the instruction to the POC here. Send the instruction to the POC. And the computer get the data from the POC. And then POC control equipment, action, and the logic. Okay, you can see that is a box. Inside the box, there is a PLC. You can see the PLC and other electronic wind or some relay device in here. And then we will introduce about the automation parts. If your company are fully automation, you need a automated material handling system. Material handling system. Here we call the material handling system. The main function is use stoker to store carrier. You can stock your carrier in here, and then using OHS and OHV to transfer carrier. This is OHS, overhead shuttle, and this is OHV, overhead hoist vehicle. Yeah, here is a hoist mechanism, is in here, and he just carry a foot in this one, in the OHV. You can see that is a foot in the OHV. Okay, this is MHS, and we are introduced. If you are installed the MES already, and then you maybe want to your year becomes good, you need to the recipe management systems. And the recipe management system, the main function is save and compare equipment recipe and send a check result to the MES. The general process step, the step 1, is upload equipment recipe body by host. Okay, we just upload the equipment recipe by the host to the RMS. This is step 1. And step 2, save the equipment recipe body in RMS system. And step 3, compare equipment recipe bodies and RMS saved recipe body before produce. And step 4, send check result to the MES. If it is right, start process lot. That you will make your year more good. Sometimes the engineer changed the recipe in the equipment, but he did not know the equipment recipe is right or not. Oh, okay, now we can using the RMS system to check. And then we are introducing about the APC. The APC and the SPC are very similar, but there is a little different. Now we can using the APC to introduce. The APC main function is just process equipment parameters. The general process flow. Step 1. The collector the first to the third lot CD value. That's for example, CD means the critical dimension. The value from the metrology equipment via the host. You can see we have the lot 1, lot 2, and lot 3, and through the metrology equipment to get this data to the APC system. Okay, the step 2. Use formula to calculate the parameter, like the wavelength parameter, appropriate value. So it will calculate, for example, like the mean value, the mean value. The mean value is lot 1, lot 3, lot 2, and 3 lots mean value. And then we will send the parameter appropriate value to the process equipment to adjust the process parameter. Okay, this is APC system. Now we will introduce about the okay, we are finished about the architecture of the CIM, and then we are introduced before computer integrated manufacturing, the CIM. And before we have this system, we are manual select carrier. Manual select carrier. Select carrier on rack. Carrier ID passed on the carrier. Here you can see that. And ID is often consistent with a digit and alphabets. The risk is like 1 and I, O and 0, which easy select one carrier. And then manual check process step and carrier ID. Process flow papers or code run car posted on the carrier. And the process step is often consistent with A digits and alphabets. The risk is also like 1 and I, 0 and O, which easy C1 process step. And then we manually move the carrier. Manually move the carrier and hold the carrier by 2 hands. The risk if the operator is working too fast or hold carrier by 1 hand, it may cause wafer broken. And then we are manually load the carrier on pole. Operator load the carrier on equipment pole. Some poles are inside equipment. The 12-inch fab poles are outside equipment. The risk is the operator sometimes load the carrier into one equipment. And then menu select recipe. Select recipe on equipment screen. You can see operator sometimes select one recipe. Okay, you can see this two kinds of equipment. Just select the recipe on the machine. After the lot process finished, we manually unload carrier on pole. Okay, after process finished, operator unload the carrier. And after computer integrated the CIM, now we still manually select the carrier. Select the carrier on screen and use mouse to click to select the carrier. and no need to memorize the long alphabets. You can see some alphabet is very long. And this is what we call the client. If you are using the CIM, you can install the desktop or laptop in your factory. And the desktop or laptop is shows the screen to select data or select the equipment. Okay, that is the function of the client. And then we just auto check the process step and the carrier ID. We are check the process step. For example, we have the product A and the product B. We have a different two process flow, and this lot is ready to into the equipment. And the MES system will check process step and check the equipment ID. It will check this process step is right or not, and it is a right equipment ID or not. And then we will auto move the carrier. Okay, if your factory is fully automation, that you can use in the OHS and the OHV to move your carrier to the equipment. And then we just auto load the carrier on pole. Operator sometimes manually load the carrier into one equipment, so we can use in the overhead hoist vehicle load carrier on equipment pole automatically. No mistake anymore. And then we just auto select the recipe. Auto select recipe. System find right recipes and send it to the equipment automatically. It is the sequence. When the equipment receives the carrier, and then send the message to the host. The host sends the received carrier message to the MES. Okay, MES will check the process step and check the equipment ID and find a recipe. And send the recipe to the host, send the recipe to the equipment. Okay, you can see those steps are automatically, no more manual set the recipe. And then after the carrier finished the process, we will auto unload the carrier on pole. You can see overhead hoist vehicle unload the carrier on equipment pole automatically. It will unload it. And after this computer integrated manufacturing, the CIM system, that the CIM system will help the company products have a good year. Okay, this is general CIM architectures. Thanks for your watching.